for now, we're going to go pivot over to this deck. A lot of people have been asking me about Basim Steel Cutter, and I wasn't sure I exactly saw the vision until I started to build it. But I think it's really cool to have like the 8 2-drops that love for you to cast a 0-drop after, and then this lets you just play the full 12 zeros really comfortably. Like besides Steel Cutter, Basim is the only thing that just loves for you to go 2-drop, 0-drop, and like you're ahead. But 2-drop, 0-drop, you're ahead is the formula with Steel Cutter. Basim is the same formula. Basim is also pretty aggressive. It is kind of slow, but it does grow every turn. It's unblockable. It gets in there, and like have a more aggressive slant to the Basim build is really cool. I'm not sure about the quad rebukes. I kind of wanted to play like 3 and then 1 iteration, but it ended up just sticking to the Thoughtcast because they're a bit better with the Tamiyo, and so you do have like a pretty good card advantage engine with these 12 cards. I'm also only playing 18 lands. We have so many Mox, and I see most people play this deck with like 20 lands, and I think it's just too many. So let's get in there. Well, we do sure have only 2 Sagas. This hand's almost keepable, though. Almost is not quite. Okay, this hand is very nice. Gonna put back the land and probably go for the turn 1 Thoughtcast. But maybe I'll go for turn 1 Rebuke if I fear the frog. How is that check and catch most? We didn't play against Titan, but it's an anti-Titan sideboard card mostly. We did, I guess, board it in. Yeah, I'm going to be holding up Rebuke for Frog here, I think. We can also go Thoughtcast with Rebuke up for Bowmaster next turn. John's at the 50 months. Any consideration for something like Swiftspear over Emry to be all in it really fast? At that point, you just build prowess, I think. Emry's also just incredibly good at this deck, you know. So I'm going to lead on the... So I go Emry, then the Amber's online. Although I guess... I thought I could Thoughtcast with Rebuke up, but now I can't. So maybe we'll just hold the Thoughtcast for another turn. And then if they go Fatal Push on the Emry, I think we let it go. Although, of course, one thing about the Frog deck is always that they only play 4 Fatal Push, so their removal suite is pretty light, and they would have to have, plus a fetch land. I'm kind of talking myself into it. This is mostly bad against Bowmaster, which I think is like an okay thing to be kind of bad against here. Perfect. Well, perfect. Yeah, perfect is this and no land. So I'm happy enough with our decision to Rebuke. Nice. I guess it's hard for it to actually die to the frog here. So we go Tamiyo. Flip Tamiyo. Now we've drawn a Steel Cutter. I'm going to play a new Tamiyo. One fun thing here is that if my opponent... Hold on, should I crack this now? I think I... we know they have Thoughtseize, so... No. I'm also probably blocking the frog with Tamiyo, so they have to discard 3 cards to kill it. One thing too about like the whole Emry is just so mandatory in this deck, but also like if you find Steel Cutter with Emry also makes you faster. So there's another Fatal Push. I'm glad it's going there. So they will need to discard 4 cards to kill my Tamiyo. Toad to the 30 months. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for all the cool content. I'm doing well. Things are going pretty good for me these days. Hope things are going well for you too. So they do discard 4, including a Bowmaster. See this as a win. Or a good exchange. And Resolve Steel Cutter is very tough for Boros to beat. So maybe their hand is Force of Negation blue card. Okay, it's not. There's a Force of Negation on top, but it probably won't be on top by the time they take their turn. Gonna be holding these Prowess Enablers. Gonna crack this now so I can draw Rebuke and cast it. Okay, well, a lot of Prowess Enablers. There, Murktide? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll be the full 8/8. I can make this 7 power, so if I draw another Prowess Enabler, we can actually attack through the Murktide, which is kind of crazy. Draw a Tamiyo, which is actually, I think, a nice draw for us. So they had a Tamiyo and they chose not to play it. I don't know why that is, I guess. Yeah, but we're not going to be attacking here. It's a good draw. Best possible, I guess. You could say. They kept it for Force. No, they shoveled the Force away. Pretty sure. No, Aether Spellbomb looks like a slight oversight. I don't know. I'm not as high on Aether Spellbomb as most people are. I mean, obviously, if you feel like it's worth playing, play it. But I don't know. I just don't think it's like a mandatory include. I think it's mostly good in exactly this matchup. I think it's kind of a suboptimal draw. I think this matchup is kind of fine without it. But maybe I'm wrong. Don't think I'm trying to rebuke that here. Why not block Frog to prevent card draw? Well, I might be able to chump the Murktide again, but that's actually not the case. So I think you're right. I think that's what we should have done. I'm hoping my opponent has a spell so I can trigger Prowess with the Rebuke. Well, I think I have lethal without it, actually. No, I don't. So they block here. They block here. And then they take... Even if I rebuke, they don't take enough damage. Is there a Galvanic Blast on top of my library? Yeah, rebuke my own Mox still isn't lethal. Don't forget to float mana with the Mox in. There's not really any reason to, is there? So if my opponent's hand is exactly 2 counterspells, we actually live, because the Frog can only hit me for 6. I'm including the card they draw for turn, too. They get a basic island end of turn. We draw that Galvanic Blast. Hilarious. We also get to make a token. Equip Tori to Tamiyo for extra card. Well, I need the mana to do this. Also, I need the Steel Cutter to be not on Tamiyo on the token so that I can put them to 2 and Galvanic Blast them. Nice. Well, that worked out pretty well. So bringing in the Fatal Pushes. I'm keeping in the Shadowspear. I think I'm going to trim 1 Amber, 2 Metallic Rebuke. And click this button. Why do you think Steel Cutter flew so under the radar during spoiler season, and now it seems to see so much play in different strategies? I don't know. For me, I was super high on Steel Cutter in spoiler season, so I actually thought it would be about this good if you go back and watch my video. So maybe people need to subscribe more to Aspiring Spike. Hip hip becoming a mod. Let's go. I don't really watch other people's spoiler content, so I don't know how evaluated it is overall. VIP, please. There's no VIP slots, hip hip. I need to change this reward to become a mod. Or it's become a mod or gift like 1,000 subs, and then we can get more VIP slots. Sorry about that. But welcome to the mod team. Mod is better anyways, like it's just like VIP is just a flex. Yeah, you're all VIPs in my heart. Dang, I'm loving these rainy days, but I'm not getting to hike as much as I'd like to. Beautiful ham. You can't be mod and VIP. Just the price tag for Steel Cutter Handle, it wasn't super popular when Dragonstone released. The price is now 10x what it was during release. Yeah, I don't know. I also don't keep up with prices. I just make my videos and do my streams, you know. Yeah, I usually have about no idea how popular or how expensive cards are. Well, I have a loose idea, but like I couldn't give you probably within $5 on most cards. It's a Cori-Steel Cutter. What could it cost? $10. So this line is a little unintuitive, but I think it's good for me to play Steel Cutter with Rebuke up here. But like 20, I was quoting Arrested Development, which me and Esther have actually been watching some episodes of lately. Just a rewatch after a few years. All right. What did they pitch? They pitched a Murktide. That's from Arrested Development. Dude, everything's from Arrested Development. Show is so good. Like, I've never heard Esther laugh as hard as she did like during like those first 3 episodes of Arrested Development. So they have a Bowmaster, which is a little annoying, but fine. They're targeting Tamiyo. So I guess they're banking on... Maybe they have a second Bowmaster in their hand and they're trying to draw a land? It's kind of all that matters. We know they're drawing a Tamiyo, so that our Tamiyo should live. Too bad the last season was extra bad. Yeah, the last season was tough. I actually think you just shouldn't watch it, because it's just such a mess. Okay. So we get to go attack for 2, then move the Steel Cutter over to... I think I'm leaving this Tamiyo back. I don't need other treasure. Although I guess I'm also not that likely to... I do have a block, sorry. If we just move this over to the Emry and then cast the other Steel Cutter. I've only watched the first 3. I think it's better this way. I really like season 4 after they re-edited it and like changed, just kind of like just reordered the episodes. I think season 4 got really good. But yeah, before that it was pretty rough. Steel Cutter is such a perfect modern card. Alright, I'm gonna... actually... I think it's worth spending 2 mana to save a monk token here, although I'm not sure. It should be fine because our curve is so low. But I'm gonna stack the triggers like this, where these resolve last, and so if my opponent puts a damage on the... Oh, sorry, I could have just let Prowess resolve before Basim, duh. I don't know, I didn't think about that. Why is Basim not on Arena? I don't know. I like Basim a lot, though. Is the updated episode order standard on streaming, or I need to take that out? I think it's standard, but I'm not 100% sure. Need that black artifact you can cast from the graveyard for -2/-2. That would be pretty good here. So am I trading a monk token here for... Am I trading a monk token for... Actually, let's also have the 3/3 blocker now. Alright, I'll allow the Bowmaster to kill a monk. I don't think I can afford to draw that. And we do have 6 removal spells to draw on 2 to kill the Bowmaster. Could get with Basim. That's true. We could get with Basim. I think now we have the Rebuke, but we could have done that if I realized, and I should have realized I could just stack the Prowess trigger before the Basim trigger. Discard Tamiyo end of turn. Not really any reason to do that, but it's okay. Okay, we found the Blast. That's good news. Don't have red mana right now, though. I'm happy enough to trade Tamiyo for 2 cards, basically. One from their hand and the one that they would draw off the frog. Also kind of makes this Tamiyo not very important. So discarded a Stern Scolding. There's like no way to trigger Basim on opponent's turn. There actually is one. There's one. Oh wait, sorry. I guess yeah, I guess I'm okay with the triggering the Bowmaster so I could get an extra monk. I forgot that this triggered Basim. There's one. Maybe there's more, but Felia is like the instant speed legendary card that's playable in Modern. There's probably a few others, but as far as like cards that actually see play, it's Felia. And and then there's some overlapping synergy between those cards, but not a lot. But I was working on a build that was playing both of those cards for a little bit. I guess I don't really... Yeah, I don't need to fight over this. So I'm going to be saying no to these Steel Cutter equips so that the my tokens can be 5/5s and attack profitably. With fast mana back in Modern, when Simian Spirit Guide returning be horrific. So Mox Opal and Mox Amber allow kind of, right now at the least, mostly fair strategies that are trying to put a bunch of like creatures into play and draw a lot of cards and sometimes combo off with stuff like Jeskai Ascendancy. What Simian Spirit Guide incentivizes you to do is win the game on turn 1 or turn 2 with Storm or Belcher or Upsal spells or Neoform. No, just hold up the Rebuke. So that's kind of the difference between Simian Spirit Guide. Simian Spirit Guide is like Simian Spirit Guide makes turn 1 wins a regular part of Modern in a way that Mox Opal doesn't, and so you can be someone who wants Simian Spirit Guide to be unbanned. Like, I don't think that that's an unreasonable position to take, but you should understand that wanting it unbanned is advocating for that, which is, again, something that that's fine to advocate for. Ooh, baby. Do you think Seamer's Guide would be legal if it would fit in Ruby Storm? If it was legal, I think it would be good in Ruby Storm, yeah. I think it's like... It is kind of awkward with the, like, Bitter Triumphs, or sorry, Bitter... like Rinse Resolve and Reckless Impulse. But it like just does enable you to win the game turn 1, so it would at least be something people would be trying for a while. Yeah, it does enable turn 1 wins in Titan. Also, like, Cascade decks with Simian Spirit Guide were always really problematic. They're certainly less I can't rebuke the Kaito here, cool. They're certainly like a lot less problematic than... I wonder what they do with the Kaito. Aren't they just super dead? Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. They are less problematic than like other stuff, but it's just like Simian Spirit Guide is less problematic in Cascade decks now that Violent Outburst is banned because it's a red card. Am I okay with turn 1 wins in Modern? I'm okay with turn 1 wins being very rare and requiring like a cool, weird, obscure like combination of cards, but I'm not a big fan of... I'm actually going to cash this in so I can trigger Prowess more often. I'm not a fan of turn 1 wins being a regular part of the format. I think, we lived through that when Simian Spirit Guide was legal last time. Turn 1 wins were just a pretty common thing, and like Force of Negation was like just like almost like a mandatory include for fair decks to avoid this. Get GG's. And I didn't really enjoy that environment very much. I didn't think it was great. It wasn't the worst environment ever. I haven't thought about Feather in a while, so it could be something to think about. Link to a Sinistio list. You can find my version in the Mox field, and I want to play that deck at a challenge. I meant to check what time the challenge... There's a challenge tomorrow at 11 a.m. I might play in that. Just start stream late tomorrow. This deck might be better, though. Yeah, I don't think Feather is playable. It is a very cool card, though. I was looking at Gab's build. I was thinking it could be do a Pirate Spellbomb to tutor clear Bowman, Prowess. I mean, it's not very good against the Prowess creatures. I do think it's kind of nice against Boros, but the thing is these decks are pretty good against Boros in general. Just like Saga, at least. Saga Steel Cutter is so good against them. Interesting draw. This lets me... play a Tamiyo or an Emry next turn in addition to the Steel Cutter Opal. One day I'll get my commander decks into Modern. It's funny. Can y'all hear the thunder? I love the thunder. I'm really, really trying to enjoy this rainy May before the hell of Dallas summers comes in. I think I'm down to end of turn Bauble and then Blast. I probably should upkeep though. It's raining in Denver now? Cool. I would love to live in Denver. Haven't been to Colorado since probably 2019. Me and Esther road tripped out there pretty early in our relationship. All right, what do you want to go after? The Emry or the or the Cutter? They go after the Cutter. In Doomix, watching the meta series, it seems like Boros is a huge part of the format, but I hardly ever play against it. Is that just winning a lot of challenges? Yeah, it seems that its tournament representation is higher than the league representation, but I also I haven't been playing that many tournaments lately, but I also haven't really experienced as big a Boros presence as like the numbers seem to dictate. I'm just going to blast this and hold up the rebuke here. But I'll say that that's kind of anecdotal. It also I'm not entirely sure how Goldfish extrapolates the data. Like, is it RCQ stuff too? I don't exactly know where the percentage comes from. But for the most part, it has also been my experience that I'm not playing against Boros 20% of matches in leagues or challenges. but that's pretty anecdotal, and it's not something you probably need to put that much weight into. Abzan. I wonder if this is the Abzan birthing ritual with maybe some static prisons in the main. Okay, that resolves. Do I want to Galvanic Blast this? Kind of. I think I'm going to hold it, though. Another Phantom is a problem because I've used my other basic already, being milled by Emry. Okay, although this is a nice draw. All I play against is Mono Red Belcher. Yeah, off stream I've been playing against Belcher so much, Mono Red Belcher. And then on stream have only played against it a couple times, I think. A chump block? They have Wrath Disguise? Oh, an Ephemerate. So I guess we're gonna go Galvanic Blast this, and then try to rebuke the other copy so I can keep my lands. Oh. Well, if they just give up, makes things a bit easier. Okay, so Abzan, they're probably playing the Ketcherbos build or a Ketcherbos build. If they're playing, well, no, they're playing the Phantom. They're a fan. They're playing Ephemerate. They're probably playing Birthing Ritual. Maybe it's too early to tell. Do you have a Smurf account to play off stream? I use my Daybreak Inspiring Timmy one most of the time, although sometimes I just play an Aspiring Spike, but I don't have any third account that I use. I did have other accounts that I would use back in the day to acquire cards, because it used to be that, like, before the Daybreak accounts, if you wanted to start a stream with a new set with cards, you could get the commons and uncommons by buying like new player booster packs, or like, so I would make accounts to get those packs and trade them. I would spend like $100 and trade them to my account so I can play the new cards on stream right away. And I'm very thankful to just have Daybreak accounts now. Do you think they're going to ban Cori? It's literally in almost every deck. It is not literally in almost every deck, but hold on, before I respond more to this point, let me finish sideboarding. Nor do I think they're going to ban Cori. I think I want to keep I think the rebukes are good against them. I'll just play 2 push. No, I want all the pushes. Maybe we just cut the Shadowspear. I don't feel like we needed that much here. Of the tier 1 decks that exist, Steel Cutter currently sees play in only Prowess. When you look at the other tier 1 decks, which are like Storm, Boros Energy, and then like it's like I feel like tier 1 is Eldrazi, no Steel Cutter, Boros, Prowess, and then like I almost like lump Belcher and Storm as like the same deck because I feel like they're very popular and they're about the same. And then like I would consider Titan to be tier 1, although it does feel like it's declining a little bit. And then like I don't know, Frog is a tier 2 deck that's like higher tier 2 in its popularity, also not a Steel Cutter deck. And so Steel Cutter goes in like it's in Prowess, and then it's in like the Jeskai Ascendancy decks, which are I think good and underrated. It's so hard to mulligan this hand, but I think I have to. Maybe it's not that hard actually. I think that those decks are good and underrated, and I think that there are several other Steel Cutter brews that haven't like broken through anything, and to me that's just a pretty acceptable amount. So this hand is very interesting. I think I'm just gonna put back the Basim so I can flip Tamiyo turn 1, which is awesome. And I can only flip Tamiyo turn 1 because I'm on the draw here. Oh yeah, I would say Broodskell might be tier 1. Broodskell is very popular in tournaments, and I play against it a lot. So it's like high tier 2 or like low tier 1, which is kind of abstract maybe, or like I don't know what word I want to use. Yeah, if this had been a 7-card hand, we could have played Basim also, and Pretty nice, although I probably should have complained if this is my turn 1. I think I'll crack this main phase for Bowmaster. Okay, they have a Solitude, so they only have 1 card left, literally 1 card left in their hand after their mull to 5. But they will get a cat token. They also played the Witch Enchanter. Let's see what they're drawing. Guide of Souls, okay. It's a good draw. Okay, not so bad. They're only going to have 1 energy here, and they're top decking, but they've got some good top decks. So we can go Watery Grave, Basim, Emry, draw a card. Not a bad card, although I guess we only have 2 artifacts in play right now. Ooh, we milled Steel Cutter. That's such a good mill. You know, also one thing too about like modern gamers, and I feel like this is not as prominent as it has been, but for a long time we've been kind of conditioned to only think about improving the format through a series of bans and unbans, but in my opinion, Modern is just pretty good at the moment, and I think it's like about as good as it ever gets, and I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that the fun continues for as long as possible. I'm just trying to enjoy Modern while it's good, you know. Sadly, they just drew 2 lands in a row here. Obviously, very tough mull to 5 for them. I'm going to save the Galvanic Blast for prowess and just second spell in general. If I don't find anything off this, I guess I might as well. No, I want to play the Saga. So I do want to move the. Okay, they concede. Okay, so we're 2-0-4-0. Grab a protein bar and go to the 3rd match here. It seems like maybe the Eldrazi players will get their head out of their ass and just go back to playing a million K returns. Like I guess I feel like I keep playing against Eldrazi, then they're just not playing K return. But they kind of need to start if we want Boros to tick down in popularity. I like the quest protein bars. K return, the best card in their deck. Well, you might be confusing it with K command, but they are cutting K return, or they started to like post Ugin. Maybe we should have bobbled first, because if I saw a brood scale, like maybe I would want to have had to like. No, I just have to kill the Fleshraker. Yeah, I think Steel Cutter is just a great addition to Modern. It's really powerful, but it's like it's so fun. It's so fun, and it is like the card that single-handedly has enabled Prowess to be a tier 1 deck in Modern, and having like Prowess be a tier 1 deck has been so fun. Thanks, cards. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're able to make it. Hope you're doing well. So we have another Fleshraker. And a Blade. So what I can do is make a construct, then Metallic Rebuke. But I can't crack the Bauble if I do that. But I think that's going to be okay. Now, I don't like to play Lava Spur Boots right now if I have 4 Steel Cutters in my deck, because it's just like you have 4 equipments that give haste, so like the boots can be pretty awkward to draw sometimes. But it would be nice to have here. Does Catcher Mibus look good? Tile's wrong? Yeah, refresh. Is Halfling the best choice in Brood Scale? Was running the build without it? I'm kind of ambivalent on it. It's definitely fine. And this is the kind of deck building choice that it's very hard to say, like, is this the best possible choice versus not without extensive playtesting. Yeah, I think I'm just grabbing another Bauble. Or maybe I should look up one card here. Okay, well, I'm glad we've got this Rebuke. Guess that was also a mistake to shrink the construct by 1. Am I tripping or are the boots good in Brood Scale? Surprised I don't see any lists playing it. Could be good, actually. They got a second blade. Second blade's interesting here. Thank you, Ragnar, for the 46. Can I ask why you decided to skip on Lava Spur Boots? Oh, I just said this. But I have 4 Steel Cutters in my deck. That's 4 equipments that give haste to my creatures. And I just kind of don't think I want to play another one. That's like the worst version of that effect. Although, of course, it's tutorable via Saga, but I think it's just kind of not that necessary. And I think I'd rather play the Shadowspear, and building the deck this way also allows me to have like higher card quality in general, which I think is pretty nice. So those are my reasonings at the very least. So I give Trample to this. My constructs are 7 power. They jump here. Okay, well. Easy enough. I think I was 1 damage short of lethal. Got a lot of sideboard cards coming in. Gonna bring in the Needle. Gonna bring in the Consigns. I think I want the Fatal Pushes as well. A lot of cards. I think I want to go down to like 2 Rebukes. No Nihil Spellbomb. Kind of have every single card in my deck is really good problem, which is a good problem to have. That's crazy. I might cut the Steel Cutters and just play Control post board. I kind of like this on the draw. Maybe reassess on the play. Not a great hand, but we can keep. Okay, I do have a lot of 0 drops in my deck. You've been liking Wildfire as a tool versus Eldrazi? Yeah, it's like pretty good against Titan, Eldrazi, and Belcher. So it's just like a weirdly very versatile sideboard card at the moment. Isn't this deck almost only winning with constructs? Basim gets pretty big. Obviously with the, I'm assuming you mean post-board after we cut the Steel Cutters. But, like, if you look at our deck is all, like, super efficient 1-for-1s and card draw. And so, like, that formula with Basim and constructs as a beatdown plan, I think is just fine. Although, them having K-Command and Decay Command is pretty tough here. 1 top, 1 bottom. The Emry's not going to do very much with the Bauble in play. The Bauble's a beating. Blade, Temple Brood Scale. I usually don't mind when Eldrazi players usually only small K commands. I mean, that's fine, but like it was just like this is a super powerful 2-for-1, super powerful 2-for-1. Just kind of backbreaking. I'm gonna go ahead and push this now so they can't adapt. Okay, so only 2 cards in their hand left. We are very fortunate we just didn't draw any of our zeros this game. It kind of looks like we're stumbling because of that, but we just because of the Bauble, and like the Bauble is still scary here, but it's less scary than it could be. So we graveyard an Opal, which can still trigger Basim. Theoretically, Steel Cutter, but we cut those. It's pretty bad. Just gonna go ahead and crack the clue. I guess I was still supposed to blast this because I can't let them put a counter on this and then okay, they're just gonna not tap the cauldron then. that works out fine. They have another K command? They didn't tap the temple for Eldrazi mana though, so hard to say. Is this Emrakul? Doesn't look like Emrakul. 2/2 Ballista. Blowout. Alright, I'm going to go to game 3. I think on the play, I'm going to cut the Rebukes and bring in some more Steel Cutters. I think maybe all the Steel Cutters on the play makes sense. We do still have a lot of good cheap disruption. I should cut the Shadowspear. Probably should have already been out. I'm going to trim... I guess I'll trim an Emry because it's a bit worse against like Vexing Bauble instead of a Tamiyo. They're also not great at dealing with flip Tamiyo. I guess also, like, in theory, like, multiple Tamiyos are better because you can flip one then play the other. Kind of a small thing. How did that win there? It wasn't the game was not over, but the Vexing Bauble was turning off a lot of our top decks. And the Cauldron was going to be very difficult to outgrind, so I decided to concede for the pace of the stream rather than because we were literally dead on board. I'm sort of the anti-Reduke in maybe a lot of ways, but I'm also another. Do they play multiple main deck or Baubles post board? I'm on stream. I'm kind of anti-Reduke, or not against him, but I'm the opposite of Reduke in the sense that I'm pretty willing to concede an almost unwinnable game so the stream can be more interesting. Okay, we can at least cycle these into the Bauble. Reveal Blade of the Bloodsheaf. I would love to draw a Steel Cutter so I could just get a lot of pressure on my opponent here. And hold up Blast for a Brood Scale. Go Basim. Do we have 0 answers to Vexing Bauble? That's correct. Vexing Bauble is basically only sees play in Brood Scale, usually as a 1-of. I think I don't know how big an issue the Bauble is. It's definitely a big issue right now. I think I'm just cycling Basim so I can keep up my mana here. Last challenge was on 335. Okay, that's good to hear. I didn't realize there was a big uptick. It is funny enough. Only the Brood Scale players know to play Vexing Bauble. It's also, you know, it's like the card Meltdown is like not a card we want to play in our deck, of course. They're definitely acting like they got a Veil, huh? I think Chalice is pretty good. I've been trying to look at decks to play Chalice in. 1 colorless mana to Apostle's Blessing. Wow. Cool. So hopefully that's what they had up instead. Let's go, Vexing Bauble! Okay, so I have to counter this. I feel like I'm just getting Veil of Summer, though. Okay, they don't have it. And they also don't have the mana to adapt this turn. That's funny. Dang, am I really 1 damage short? Well, I guess I can't equip the Steel Cutter anyways. So my opponent can combo next turn. They've already played a Ballista and a Cauldron, so hopefully they just don't have another payoff. I'm going to play this so I can play around Dismember. I think that makes more sense than playing the Steel Cutter, although it's pretty marginal. They cycle the Bauble, so they have basically 3 looks at a Glaring Fleshraker, a Ballista, an Agatha Soul Cauldron, or a K command to kill me. They immediately adapt, which is, I think, bad news, although maybe they're always doing this. Texas is sick. You're missing out. I don't know what I was bored and I've lived here my whole life. Okay, they drew a Rumble, and they rumble into a Glaring Fleshraker, and we lose, putting ourselves to 2-1. Am I missing something? They could have adapted the Brood Scale last turn. They tapped out of the adapt. So if this land is untapped, this keeps kind of easy. I think we'll keep anyways. A lot of good draws. Yeah, if I had drawn the Steel Cutter first, then maybe we could have presented lethal, forced a chump block. Another Eldrazi Temple deck. We do draw the land. Or untap land. Mill Saga, Basim, Thoughtcast. Probably grabbing Karn. It's a good thing we've got this Galvanic Blast. They do choose the Karn. Well, a little bit awkward that for me to cast Basim here, I've got to play the Bauble first so I don't get the card off the Basim. I think that's okay. We'll be getting cards after this. And I don't want to crack this Bauble yet so that I can blast the Karn. And just kill it and then untap. Don't think it's correct to kill the spawn token here. Do wonder what they get with the Karn, I guess. They might plus some amount of the time. Chalice on 0. Pretty good. So blast the Karn. Still cracking the Bauble. It's going to turn off Metalcraft, but I want the card pretty bad. Okay, happy to draw a Rebuke. I'm going to graveyard this. I'm actually going to play the other Emry so that I can mill towards a Steel Cutter. I do find a Steel Cutter, which is really important here. Scary's a Fairy. Great username. Think of the 10 months. 3 cards in their hand here. Hopefully this is Sire of the 7 Deaths or a K command, something that doesn't have a cast trigger. Instead, it's Devourer of Destiny. So Steel Cutter, Metalcraft back online. Yeah, actually, I think playing Basim is better just so I have more pressure for next turn. Gonna get in for 2. They have only 6 mana right now. They have 3 cards. So there's land number 7 again. Also, Emrakul costs 7 mana, so they could cast an Emrakul if they have it. They have Wisely back on K return, much to my chagrin. Gonna play this since it makes the Thoughtcast cost 1. Okay, so we get to exile the K return, draw a card. Kind of interesting between like hasting the Tamiyo so I can get an extra card versus just dealing more damage. I think just dealing more damage is more important here. So they have 3 cards in their hand. They put the Emrakul back into their hand, but we just exiled their graveyard, so this is going to be pretty far away from being castable. The Nihil Spellbomb just quietly winning us this game, or maybe I shouldn't say winning, but putting us in a position where we're like kind of likely to win instead of like almost definitely going to lose. Oh my gosh, I meant to play the Steel Cutter first. Oh no. So if I had played the Steel Cutter first, I would have had lethal. And as you may or may not know, that missing lethal is not the best thing to do on this stream, but something we like to do from time to time. They're going to 1, and they don't have many draws that get them out of the spot. We're not dead to K return. It's like Karn, even Karn Bridge doesn't do it because they can't crack the land. Sire of the 7 Deaths might do it. All right, well. Never punished on this channel. We're going to bring in the Consigns of the Wildfires. I might bring in Needle for Karn, and I might not. I might play Force of Negation since they're a Karn build. Also good against K return. I'm going to cut all my copies of Galvanic Blast. I'm actually going to leave in the Nihil Spellbomb after that game. I think it's not so bad. I want to go down to 1 or 2 Rebukes, probably. Go down in Emry. Maybe Force is better than Rebuke. I think I can buy that. Maybe 2 Force, even just 1 Rebuke, and then cut an Amber since I'm down in Emry. Seems okay. I don't hate this hand, so we can keep. Would I force a Utopia Sprawl? I guess I don't have to think about it too hard. It's actually a really good draw, so this way I can hold up Clue Sack / Consign next turn if I don't draw a land for Basim. Force a Rebuke. Yeah, I think the 2-1 split's kind of good. Just like seeing that they are on the K return build. And they main phased it also last game. Playing around counter magic. Okay, so I did draw the land. I think it's important to get the Basim down. If they K command my Tamiyo, it's not great, but it's not the worst. I don't think they have it either. Great. So you got a Michael spawn. Steel Cutter, Emry, any of the zeros, of course. Even another Tamiyo, just like getting in with the Basim is pretty good here. Although that would be the worst of the historic cards we could draw. They do find a Cavern of Souls, which stinks. We have 4 Cleansing Wildfires in our deck that we could draw into. Off the Bauble, which would also flip Tamiyo. Okay, not quite that lucky. So I have the option to spend 2 mana to Thoughtcast or 1 mana to Emry. We can go for the 1 mana Emry, I guess. We mill 2 of our Wildfires. So I actually think because I've built 2 wildfires, I might just want to flip the Tamiyo now so I could wildfire the cavern next turn. And I still have force up for all the stuff that matters because I can't counter the creature spells anyways. And then I do have to chump block the Michael spawn with the Emry, but I think that that's okay. It's a good draw. Now, if they have like Devour of Destiny, it's pretty rough. Although you would think they would attack first if they had it. That's okay. I guess it's way less okay if they get Bajuka Bog, though. They did get Bajuka Bog. I guess I'm still chumping with the Emry since I don't have anything to flash back. Why plop Clue instead of Tamiyo to Thoughtcast? Did I have another blue card that wasn't Consign? I guess I had the Emry. Yeah, I guess Thoughtcast was better. Okay, so we'll draw a card off of our Basim first. Interesting game. Plays a Gemstone Caverns. Emrakul cost 12 mana. They have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Eldrazi mana and 7 regular. Eldrazi creature spells. Sure. It means 11, not 12. It is 11. Sorry, maybe I misspoke. Okay, so we're going to go replicating on the Null Drifter and the Sanctum of Ugin. I think that's a bit better than going after one of the Chrysalis triggers. Both at Tamiyo, they become 2/3, so we can block kind of comfortably here. This has reach, if you may or may not remember. So I guess I'm going to go minus on Consign to Memory. I really need to keep Basim in there, so I don't think I can afford to make a construct. I think I'm just flipping Tamiyo. I did not draw another 0 to keep the Basim rolling, so I guess I'm just going to plus and pass. Pretty bad for our tempo. Gonna force the rumble, pitching a Basim. They have 1 card in their hand right now. Okay, well, so what's nice about this is they don't really have a great attack here. I guess they could kill the Tamiyo by sacrificing a Myco Spawn, which is actually fine. If I block here, it still takes 4. Okay, so never mind. They have the fine attack. So I block here. They have 0 cards in their hand, though. This is good. It makes my Mox Opals cost 0. Or sorry, my Thoughtcast cost 0. After I get something here. Probably the Nihil Spellbomb. I do think I'm going to make a construct. Okay, so draw a card. A Cleansing Wildfire. Wow. So we get to Wildfire the Cavern. Then play Mox Amber and have replicated Consign up. Which I think is more important than like getting an Emry or a Thoughtcast down here. Basim is a 5/5. So we didn't need to sack the Spellbomb, of course, because we have an answer for Emrakul. If they drew K-Command, we can still consign that after we fetch, so I think I'm just going to get this fetch tapped, and things are looking pretty good here. Draw a card, grow the construct. Can force a chump block. Draw 2. Another copy of Cleansing Wildfire, not too shabby. think going after Sanctum is right. Alright, I think not much reason to tap out of double Consign. Especially with the Cavern of Souls already destroyed. Dead to Basim next turn. Save the Emry to trigger the Basim. Yeah, I'm just going to sack this and I don't need the card. Not that, like maybe like Cavern Emrakul could get us, so like this does play around that. They'd have to have second Cavern. So my Basim is going to be unblockable. Okay, they say GG. Where's my G key? GG. Okay. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. This deck's going pretty nice. Yeah, sometimes they put up the hand hider and then they play a little faster. 61 card Boros energy, huh? I think I need to lead on the Tamiyo so I can get some artifacts in play for these rebukes. And also if I can flip the Tamiyo, it'd be pretty good against the cat. They graveyard a Galvanic Discharge, so I was about to say another copy is pretty likely, and there it is. I'm going to play the Steel Cutter. It's a little bit weird, but what I could do is next turn I can go Galvanic Blast plus Metallic Rebuke and trigger Steel Cutter on their turn. Although this could happen. So they graveyarded a discharge. I'm just gonna get the Basim cast here. Like playing a 2/2 on the board of all 1/1s doesn't seem like it could be the worst line. So they didn't have another discharge in their hand just now. They go down to 1 energy in the pool. They have a Thraben Charm. They have a Ragavan. They got Kitty's Blessing. The way that they played definitely lined up pretty well against the way I played. Seems like maybe I could have sequenced better. If I drew Mox Opal this turn, I could have got Shadowspear and equipped, and I might still have been dead, but let's go to game 2 here. Okay, so I'm leaving in the Nihil Spellbomb for Flage. I'm going to bring in the pushes. I'm going to cut 1 Amber, 1 Emry, 1 Rebuke. I think I'm going to play just 2 Rebukes. This looks worse to me once I did it. Let's do 3/3. I'm going to now pee and be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Why is it an Ember side? We sided one out in this matchup. Oh, man, I hate mulliganing hands like this. On the play, it's got to go back. I don't know what to say. No Pyroclaps is interesting. I feel like I need at least 4 dedicated sideboard slots against Boros lately. You could do that. I'll say that like the combination of like Steel Cutter, cheap removal spells, Urza Saga, Shadowspear, main deck Nihil Spellbomb for Flage. I don't feel like I need that much against them, but obviously you could play some Pyroclasms if you wanted. All right, come on, Basim, Steel Cutter, Urza Saga. They got a Voice of Victory, which we can't push on their turn. Fuck. All right, don't worry. We'll surveil into something. Also, I don't like Pyroclasm does miss more now they're playing Voice of Victory, and I feel like I'm losing to like the non-voice cards so often. I can't cast it, so I guess I can't keep it. Needle not too bad. Yeah, you could bring in the Needle too. I agree, it's solid. All right, if we draw against Kaito, or sorry, not Kaito, Basim, let's go. Okay. Definitely can help us crawl back in. Mostly if it lives. Basim is so good. Just like, usually at minimum, a nice solid 2-for-1 that just takes over the game if unanswered. Very similar to Steel Cutter. So it's nice to play both of them together. Oh, I meant to get the red sword. It's not going to matter, really. Although, just awkward mulligan. They're missing land drops. They excel at Mishra's Bauble. Mox Opal, bad actually. I have been polling, unofficially the chat. So like, when there was a big group of people that were like, don't ban Breach, Opal's the problem. Don't ban Breach, Opal's the problem. Opal deck will be broken. Emry, Amber, Tamiyo broken. And like, I do think Amber, Tamiyo is good in decks like this, and it's good in the like Jeskai Ascendancy Narset deck. But it has not been broken. And so I do sincerely wonder, like, if you were one of these people that have felt that Mox Opal, Amber, Emry package was going to be broken after the Breach ban, how do you feel now? Do you still feel like it's a matter of time? Or do you feel like you were wrong? Do you feel like there is a deck that is really broken? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Squeed the 66, thank you, welcome back. Breach of Prowess would have been so gross. So yeah, I mean, it was gross previously. It would have been more gross now. No Death Shadow build yet. We've played lots of Death Shadow builds. We had a Death Shadow Last Ride build, but as far as like Death Shadow Steel Cutter, I haven't worked on it yet. Okay, so a pair of 3/2s here. I think they're both a problem. I mean, that's valid. I will say that Opal is not in any tier 1 deck in Modern at the moment. It's in a couple tier 2 decks. It's a combo that'll get better as new more cards are printed, in my opinion. I think that's valid. I also don't think it's too strong at the moment, for whatever it's worth. I fully admit I was wrong when I thought it was going to be a toss-up, what was going to be broken.